Hello, Kyle. How about this place?
Oh, it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of history here, especially with the Blennerhassett Mansion and the fleeing of Aaron Burr after the duel with Alexander Hamilton.
Just speaking just from a historical standpoint, I've always thought Burr was a reasonable guy. He wasn't too psychopathic. And then he goes and shoots and kills Mr. Hamilton in a battle, or a little duel.
Yeah, and what I think is really, really interesting about the history of, kind of the feud that was going on between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton, at least from a lot of the research that I've done after watching the musical Hamilton, one of the things that I think that I really found interesting was that whenever the election where Thomas Jefferson is running with Aaron Burr for the presidency, and then after they essentially receive a tie for the amount of votes before the rules change for electing president, Aaron Burr was suspected to be campaigning for the presidency himself, and although Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr disagreed on a number of issues, Alexander Hamilton was actually the one who helped solidify and convince Congress to cast their votes for Jefferson instead of Burr, which is what started, I think, the kind of bitter feud between Hamilton and Burr.
And that's interesting in itself. And it's just another aspect of the whole thing I find interesting is, well, first of all, why did they actually duel each other? Because I don't remember. I even have a couple books on it at the house, but I can't remember why they fought. Why did they even have their duel in the first place?
I think that what it amounted to was that after that initial letdown, where essentially Burr was not elected as president, he became the vice president. Eventually, he and Jefferson kind of had some disagreements, and and Burr knew that he was going to be replaced as vice president, and he started looking for the political offices to run, and Alexander Hamilton was a key reason why he lost a lot of those races in New York. Mm-hmm. I think that Burr found Hamilton responsible and ultimately sought to kind of end his end the life of the person who
ended his political career.
Yes, who caused all his political turmoil. And if you look over here, what I think is really, really interesting is that we missed the sign back there, but this right here is actually the Blennerhassett kitchen garden. This is where I believe that a lot of they previously had a garden and planted a lot of vegetables here.
Interesting. Now, see this plaque up here? This is another thing I thought was cool. You see all the different people, famous people, that have visited it. Let's see.
Now, let's not forget George Washington, the first ever owner of Blennerhassett.
Yeah, that's true too. Oh, let's see. See if we have big other names. Earl Dunmore, George Rogers Clark. That name is really, really important. I forget why. Let's see. Revolutionary War soldier.
John Fitch, steamboat inventor.
Let's see. Albert Gallatin. Oh, I forget what public office he held there for a while. Let's see. Monroe visited. How about that?
James Monroe.
Daniel Boone.
One of the most underrated presidents of all time.
That's true too. Rufus Putnam. I think he's the reason why Putnam County has its name. Let's see.
Yeah, I got Louis Wetzel, Daniel Boone.
The King of France visited here. Mr. Louis Philippe. Meriwether Lewis was here.
Not forget about Aaron Burr, one of the infamous visitors of the island.
Oh, actually, so it goes on the other side.
Yeah, so we can go back down there so we can continue to look at some of the other names here.
How about that? You have Henry Clay.
Back from 1807.
Oh my gosh, Henry Clay. And he's one of the ones that have actually documented been on Blennerhassett.
Let's not forget President Andrew Jackson, USCSS Grant.
Marquis de Lafayette, Sam Houston, Davy Crockett,
John Quincy Adams,
Andrew Jackson,
Abraham Lincoln,
William Henry Harrison, Charles Dickens.
Wow.
This is a who's who of historical significance.
Zachary Taylor, of course.
President.
Stonewall, yep. Stonewall
General
Jackson.
Mr. Custer was here too. How about that?
Very interesting list of famous visitors.
It's mind-boggling. And the biggest thing about this is the fact that you have a lot of people here that also don't realize the fact that this was the headquarters for Burr after he'd shot Alexander Hamilton. This is headquarters to make a armed insurrection and create a new country in the Southwest United States.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I really don't remember how Mr. Blennerhassett got tied up in all this mess. I kind of feel bad for him, to be honest. Let's see, here's a house.
The Putnam Hauser House.
How about that? Now, I think he said it was closed too, but it just...
I don't think this was open the last time I was here, but I don't think Sheldon and I really went in.
See, I don't think it was open last time I was
It
here.
may have been just really crowded. There we go, maple shade. Occupied until 1981.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of history here.
It is. The bad thing is how many people actually think about this history, though.
Well, we are fortunate enough to be in Southern West Virginia, where we have a pretty unique and an incredible history.
Yes, we do.
And our kids are very fortunate to be able to get to learn about the history of our great state. Not every state does state-specific history, where we get to learn about the origins of our state, some of the top tourist attractions, and really just get a chance to uncover all of the history that is there.
And I think also too is the fact that you have a lot of states that aren't proud of their heritage.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't proud of where they came from. West Virginia, I believe, is probably one of the most proud states in the United States because we understand our heritage. We understand where we came from. Yeah. Even our creation was tumultuous and controversial.
Very controversial.
We're looking at it, to be honest, West Virginia shouldn't have become a state.
And from the perspective that I've gotten from a lot of people that are not West Virginia natives, is that they still kind of is that a lot of the unions still kind of view us as an illegal state because we were not we didn't follow the normal legal process for becoming an actual state.
It's mind-boggling. It really is.
Yeah. There's an old log house.